Yes, good morning. So we have gathered here to discuss on behavior. To start with, what is behavior? See, behavior is an action exhibited by a person in an environment. Why the study on behavior has become mandatory and very important. See, if you look at management means getting things done from others. How this management concept has evolved is, the first one was classical approach. So classical approach means things were got done from public or employee by an autocratic leader. So the autocratic leader is considered as the boss. Whatever the boss tells, the employee has to obey. So the employee were obeying their boss out of fear. So fear was the major constraint in getting things done from the employee. So this is what we do it in classical model. The next advancement of classical model was scientific approach. As per this approach, the application of science was brought into management. A very good example is, in the present day, we all know how this construction work take place. So we have an elevator, we have lift, and there are many sophisticated equipments to lift goods from the bottom to the top floor. Whereas in earlier days, even in some remote places, you can see how people carry goods from bottom to top. They all stand in a queue. From bottom, one fellow will lift it in a tray. They will be passing on to the next fellow, till it goes to the topmost point. So this is an application of science. Okay. So when science is applied, work was done in an effective and efficient manner. So in scientific approach, the major theme was getting work done from the people by the application of science. The next approach was decision approach. So what do you mean by decision approach? You know, there are many institutions which have suffered failure mainly because of the false decision they have taken at the wrong time. So the success of an organization depends upon the timely and correct decision it takes. For example, we could see now Hindustan Motors, it is not at all present in the market. Some 2 to 3 decades back, they were the monopoly in Indian market, car market segment. So their ambassador car was rolling on roads. Then they were competed by Premier Automobile Limited with its brand Fiat, and later by Maruti Suzuki. Now Hindustan Motor could not have its car mainly because no change. They took many false decisions. They did not go for product innovation. They did not go for technology innovation. Since they did not take a right decision at right time, they lost. So as per this decision approach, the success of a management depends upon the decision taken by the management. Again, it relies with the top management. Okay. So the success of an organization depends upon the decision of the top management. Another approach, we call it as system approach. What do you mean by system approach? This approach focuses on the integration of top level to low level employees. So the main theme is everybody should work as a team in an integrated team spirit in order to move the organization from one level to another level towards the successful path. So that was the focus on system approach. And then we have another approach by name behavioral approach. So what is behavioral approach? As the name implies, the concentration is on the behavior of employees. So dear students, see, you could see the evolution of words. We had personal management, then it has reached a place called human resource management. Okay, personal management means managing employees. From that place, now it has touched another place called human resource management. So the employees are considered as human resource. So management at this point of time, they have felt the need and importance of human resource, especially the behavior of employees. So the behavioral approach indicates that you can get work done from employees only if you provide a conducive environment for them to exhibit their behavior towards accomplishment of organization goals. So dear students, this is how the concept of importance of behavioral studies in management came into existence. Okay, so with this, let us go to the next level. I think all of you might have come across this equation which says y is equal to ax plus b. So this is a straight line equation wherein y is a dependent variable, x is an independent variable. This is an equation, common equation used in application of science. Now, we are not going to use this equation. Why I had this equation here on the board is to make you understand the relationship between dependency and independency. Any organization, they have multiple dependent variables and independent variables. But the key focus is there is a few listing of dependent variables which every organization is very much dreaming about. Those variables are: number one, productivity; number two, job satisfaction; number three, absenteeism; number four, turnover; number five, OCB. So these are the dependent variables required by any organization. All organizations, they are very much dependent on these variables. What is so special about these variables as dependent variables? Okay, now productivity. When I say productivity, it is explained by an equation called output to input. That is, with minimum number of input, we have to get maximum output. That is what is called productivity. Again, there are two different words. Word number one is efficiency and the other one is effectiveness. What is effectiveness and what is efficiency? So dear students, we are moving to a new era called efficient era. No longer we are looking at effectiveness. Effectiveness means getting things done. I have achieved my target, that is effectiveness. Then what is efficiency? I have achieved the target at minimal span of time, at minimal resource. That is called efficiency. So the present day organization, they are more bothered about efficiency than effectiveness. That is what is productivity. Coming back to job satisfaction. What is job satisfaction? See, it is an indication whether you are satisfied with your job or not. It is an indication. Most of the research work carried out in corporates are either satisfaction study with respect to employees or satisfaction study with respect to customers. So the present day corporates, they are very much interested in knowing job satisfaction. If you look at, you go to any library, you go to any project of students, 95% of the students' projects will be on satisfaction study, either employee satisfaction or customer satisfaction. So job satisfaction is an important dependent variable. Looking at absenteeism. Absenteeism means it indicates the employees leaving the workplace without any indication or with proper indications. When an employee leaves an organization, not only his work is affected, the related work of the employees also is getting affected. So employee will be playing either a direct role or indirect role in many work. All work get affected because of absenteeism of the employees. Again, absenteeism is a very dangerous dependent variable. Looking at turnover. Turnover means employee turnover. So most of us are very much interested in company turnover. That is a monetary aspect. Employee turnover means it is an indication how many employees have left the organization in a year. Anybody can study the strength of an institution by looking at how many employees have left the organization. Again, it is a bigger burden in many corporates. I attended many workshops. Okay, in many workshops, I got a very beautiful points from the workshop wherein they say, we are paying our employees so much, irrespective of that, they are leaving our organization, going to our competitor organization. The reason behind is money and recognition. So when an employee leaves the organization, it is a very big threat to an organization because they have invested a lot on the employees. For recruiting the employees, they have invested. For training the employees, they have invested. So one fine day, if an employee leaves the organization, they cannot find an alternate for that particular employee. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to get right man for the right job. So turnover also is very, very important in present day work context. Looking at OCB. OCB denotes organization citizenship behavior. That is another dimension, the latest dimension which corporates are looking at. I need a satisfied employee, I need an involved employee, and also I need an employee who is committed to the organization. So that is very, very important. So that is why we have given the ranking as 5. It means OCB is very, very difficult. Productivity is possible, job satisfaction is possible, absenteeism is reducing absenteeism is possible, reducing turnover is possible, but getting an employee who is committed to the organization is very, very difficult. So OCB means organizational citizenship behavior, which indicates how far an employee is committed to the organization. So employee should be in a position to do not only his work. For example, a sweeper is absent. So the employee should not mind even to sweep the floor. He should not say the sweeper is absent, it's not my duty. The employee should have a feeling that it is my organization. So a very good example for this is this ESOP concept promoted by Infosys, Employee Stock Option Plan, wherein every employee is given a share of the company to make a feeling that it is my company. So this is what all organizations are heading towards. So they want to create a sense among the employees that it is their organization, they have to work for the betterment of the organization. That is what is meant by OCB. So dear students, these are the most sorted dependent variables. Now that is what is Y. Let us see what is X. X is an independent variable. So here we have 3 levels of independent variable. So that is going to see now. We'll start with the first level of independent variable, that is individual level variables. So individual level variables, they concentrate on individual behavior of the employees. There are many variables which decides the individual behavior. To start with, we have demographic variables. What do you mean by demographic variables? So demographic variable include your age, your sex, your experience, your education qualification. Then it also concentrate on your marital status. Now why all these things are very much important to explain you in brief. So dear students, married men, they exhibit a secured behavior. Bachelor exhibit a risky behavior. Girls, they exhibit a secured behavior. Boys, they exhibit a risk behavior. Girls, they very easily, girls get satisfaction with respect to their job, whereas boys, it's very difficult for them to get satisfaction level with respect to their job. Absenteeism is more in boys when compared to girls. Again, turnover, it is more in boys when compared to girls. Girls are more productive when compared to boys. Whereas OCB, it is more in boys when compared to girls. Okay. Similarly, age. Old people, they are loyal to the organization than young people. So this is why this demographic variable has a great impact on these dependent variables. The second one is ability. So this ability can be classified into 2 categories. One is physical ability. Another one is mental ability. Each and every one of you are different based on this physical ability or mental ability. So when I say physical ability, it is your stamina, it is your physical strength, it is your height and weight. So each and every one of you over here have a difference in your physical ability. Coming back to mental ability, so it concentrates on your numerical aptitude, your memory, your aesthetic preference. So numeric aptitude, it's very simple. How strong you are with numbers, how strong you are with numbers decides your numerical aptitude. How strong you are with words decides your verbal attitude. How strong you are with imaginary, that decides your aesthetic attitude. Okay. So, all this put together, it is your mental ability. So, under ability we have physical ability and mental ability. The next one is personality. So, all of you might have many meanings for this word personality. So, most of us think personality means your external appearance. As per my research and observation, what do you mean by personality? It is a dynamic organization within you which makes you to behave in an environment. So, your personality is judged by how you behave in an environment. Then why I call it as a dynamic organization is, as you grow, your personality also grows. You cannot exhibit the same behavior which you exhibited when you were kids in classroom. Okay. Now, you all exhibit a decent behavior. That is an indication that you have grown up, your personality also is grown up. So, personality, it is a dynamic organization within you which makes you to behave in an environment. That is a very important individual level variable. The next one is value. So, what do you mean by value? When I say value, we are very much interested in dollar value, oil value, gold value. Many a times I used to ask students, how many of you value your parents? All hands come up. Then I ask them, what do you mean by valuing your parents? Then they look at each other. Some of them say, sir, I respect my father, I respect my teacher, I respect my mother. This is what is meant by valuing parents. So, dear students, value is a beautiful concept. So, most of us, we do not have a clear idea about what is meant by value. Value means a preferred end state. Each and every one of us have a preferred end state. So, we call it as value. Again, value is classified into two categories. The preferred end state is called terminal value. Some of you may prefer comfortable life, some of may prefer happiness, some prefer friendship, some prefer achievement, some prefer peace. So, these are some examples of preferred end state. Now, how this preferred end state can be achieved? So, only in movies we come across, after a song is played, the objectives will be achieved, but that is not the case in reality. So, you have to work, you have to exhibit some behavior, that is called instrumental value. So, value has two components. I will put it like this: TV and TV is terminal value, IV is instrumental value. So, terminal value is a preferred end state, instrumental value is the expected behavior from you to achieve the end state. So, that is value. So, the next individual level variable is attitude. So, all of you might have come across this word attitude. So, what is so speciality about this word attitude? You assign A as 1, B as 2, you assign from A to Z all numerical values, you sum up the score of attitude, you will get the value 100. So that is the power of attitude. From a definition aspect, attitude means it is an evaluative statement. It is an evaluative statement towards an object, a person, or an event. So each and every employee, they have their own attitude preference. So employee's attitude has a great impact on these dependent variables, which we will study in subsequent chapters. And the next variable is motivation. So I'll even put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Motivation is a drive within you which makes you to work. That is called motivation. Each and every one of you have a need within you. So that need has to be achieved. There should be a driving force within. That is what we call it as motive. Okay. So motivation is again an important individual level variable. The seventh level, individual level variable is learning. Learning is a continuous process. See, there is a saying called training and development. Training is a need based, whereas development is a continuous base. So learning leads to development. Learning, what is the definition of learning is a permanent change in behavior is called learning. Based on learning, there should be a change in behavior. So we look at behavior modification, organization behavior modification. So in that dimension, the variable learning is very, very important. So dear students, at the individual level, we have 7 variables. I'll just give a conclusion before going to the next level variable. So demographic, it concentrates on the personal variables like your age, sex, marital status, etc. Ability, again, it concentrates on your numerical ability and physical ability under the dimension that each and every individual is different. The third one is a personality dimension, fourth one is value dimension, fifth attitude, sixth motivation, and the seventh one is learning. Now I'll rub the board, we'll see how this fit in our diagram. So I have a box here. I call it as IL. IL stands for individual level. I relate this to this big box. So this big box is called dependable variables. The second level variable, we call it as group level variables. So what do you mean by group? 2 or more persons joining together for a common purpose, it is called a group. Each and every organization has a group. It may be a friendship group, it may be a department group, it may be intra-department group. If an organization has many branches, it can be inter-branch group also. Okay. So group means 2 or more persons joining together for a common purpose. When you look at this group variable, what we have to concentrate? What are the variables under the category group level? First one is communication. We call it as group communication. So dear students, all of you might have played a small game in your former classes at your undergraduate level, if a person starts from 1, he whispers something to the second guy. By the time it reaches the last one in the last bench, the entire thing gets collapsed. So when there is no quality and standard in group communication, the binding of group gets lost. So this is a major important constraint in group. So group communication is a very, very important variable. Second, see, whenever there is a group, always there is fight for power. Who will be the group leader? There is fight for power. Okay. Conflict, power. Fourth one is leadership. See, when there is more conflict in a group, and if the conflict is not resolved, as a result, all the dependent variables get affected. So we might have come across strikes, many unions strike. So when there is a strike, productivity is lost, absenteeism is more, there is no job satisfaction. So when there is no job satisfaction, turnover is more, there is not even a chance for OCB. When the conflict is more in a group, it has a dramatic impact on the dependent variable. Power. So each member in the group should be powerful. Then only nation exists in a group. So we might have come across centralized organization and decentralized organization. So in the present day environment, decentralized institutions are more powerful than centralized institutions. Take for example Indian Railways. Indian Railways have decentralized its operation. That is why Indian Railways is growing. So most of the cases, decentralization is more powerful when we look at centralization. So how this power is distributed equally in a group has a great impact to the dependent variable. And the last one is leadership. So leadership, it is a ocean. There are more and more research on leadership. But as per me, the definition says leadership means it is a skill. The skill which has the ability to influence others. Mahatma is a leader. Mother Teresa is a leader. Because when we say Mahatma or Mother Teresa, okay, we are carried away. So that is what is meant by leadership. So if a group has a proper leader to guide the group, definitely the group will be marching towards success. So dear students, so these are the major variables under group level. So we join an organization as an individual. We step inside a department. When we go inside a department, automatically we get into a group. You have your own individual behavior. Your individual behavior is based on your personality, your ability, your value system, your attitude, your motivation level and your learning. When you get inside the group, sometimes there is a chance for upgradation of your behavior or destruction of your individual behavior. So that is why they say group behavior is more powerful than individual behavior. So a group behavior can develop your individual behavior, at the same time can spoil your individual behavior. So these are the 4 cases. If I am today in front of you, it is mainly because of the group behavior. The institution where I studied, the institution where I am working. So the group behavior increased my individual behavior. So that is why I have grown up to this level. So again I'll rub it, I'll go to the second box. The second box will be GL. So first level is individual level, the second one is GL, group level. Now the last level is OL, we call it as organization level. So the three major variables under organization level are, first one is structure, second one is culture, third one is climate. Structure, culture and climate. The structure of an organization plays a major role in shaping one's behavior. See, OL looks at organizational behavior. Now let us come back to the definition of the subject, organizational behavior. So how organizational behavior is defined? It is the application of individual, group and organization on behavior in organization. That is how your individual behavior, how your group behavior and how the organization as such shape your behavior in an organization. So organization is a major component in shaping your organizational behavior. That is very important. And the three major variables are, first one is structure, the second one is culture, third one is climate. Structure means the design of the organization. There are two types of broad design. One is horizontal structure, another one is vertical structure. Horizontal structure, it stretches like this. Vertical structure, it stretches from top to bottom. So each of the design has its own advantage and disadvantage. There is another organization structure called matrix organization, wherein they have inculcated the concept of functional specialization. That is how this IT industry functions. So you function in form of a team. So when you work in such a structure, what happens? The team spirit evolves. When the team spirit evolves, all the five take place. Productivity increases, job satisfaction increases, absenteeism decreases, turnover decreases, commitment increases. The third type of structure is called matrix structure, which is very, very essential for the success of an organization. Looking at the second one, we call it as culture. So what do you mean by culture? Culture means beliefs and practices. So each and every organization, they have their own set of beliefs and practices. That is very, very important. India is a democratic country. So we give importance for all race of people, ranging from Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikhs, etc. Now with the advent of globalization, foreign nationals also they are coming inside. So we have to give importance for their customs and practice. Then only harmony will develop in an organization. So culture concentrates on beliefs and practices in an organization. That belief and practice should be common to all race of people in order to have all these things done. And the third one is climate. So now we are in an air conditioned hall, all of us are comfortable and we have a comfortable dressing. Why? Because of the cool climate in this particular hall. Okay. So climate resembles or climate reveals how conducive the organization working condition is. So here I like to give you one example. The first bank, private sector bank, which made the public sector bank to panic is ICICI. Mainly because of the computerization of the bank, they uplifted the facilities of the bank. So the concept of ATM was revolutionized by ICICI. Only when we stepped in ICICI, we could come across a girl say, "May I help you?" So the working condition got improved. I came across one of my earlier friends who told me, "I am working in SBI, it's a public sector bank, but I am interested to work in ICICI, which is a private bank." Because the working condition. So climate depicts how is your working condition. So all these three we call it as organizational level variables. Now I'll rub this, I'll again come back to my main diagram. Now the diagram comes like this. So dear students, this is what we call it as the general model of organizational behavior. So we have both dependent variables and independent variables. The independent variables are classified under three headings, which we call it as individual level, group level, organizational level. The dependent variables which are identified as important to the organization are productivity, job satisfaction, absenteeism, turnover, organizational citizenship behavior. So this is the diagram for the general model of organization behavior. Now there are more dimensions in looking at the model of behavior. So this is one dimension. This dimension we call it as general model. Generally speaking, why it is called general model? Generally speaking, there are three levels in any organization. Generally speaking, these are the variables which are very, very important. There are another dimensions how we look at organization behavior. Let us spend some time on that also. The first model, the other model, the first model is called autocratic model. The first model is called autocratic model. As per this model, the behavior is extracted from people. As I told you earlier, classical approach. As per this model, the behavior is extracted from people by fear. There is an autocratic leader who controls the behavior of employee. So that is what we call it as autocratic model. So autocratic model was succeeded by the second model called custodial model. What do you mean by this custodial model? That is, they started understanding the importance of employee behavior. As I told you in the behavioral approach, okay, the behavioral aspect of employee was considered as important. So they started giving more benefits to the employees. As per this model, the concentration is more on the benefit to the employee, hence the name custodial model. It means the employees are taken under custody and given more rewards and benefits. That is how the name custodial model. Third one is supportive model. Money is not the one and only motivator, you all know. I give rewards to employees. As a result, I am not developing my employees. I have to develop the employees. So this is the basic theme of supportive model. So as per this model, I provide a pavement for career development of the employee. See, this is the minute difference between custodial model and supportive model. See, in custodial model, I am giving rewards to the employees, whereas in supportive model, I am guiding the employees to achieve their career achievement objective. So that is called supportive model. And the last model is collegial model. Okay, this is based on the name colleague. Colleague means a member in a team. So he is a member in my team. So as I say, this model emphasizes on team spirit. Boss also works along with the employee. The relationship called boss and subordinate, it is absent here. Everybody works in a team. So this model works on the concept called team spirit for achievement of organization goals. Okay. So to conclude, autocratic model, the theme is fear to get work done. Custodial model, the theme is rewards and plus to get work done. Supportive model, the theme is career accomplishment to get work done. Collegial model, the theme is team spirit to get work done. The general model, the theme is there are 5 dependent variables and 3 different level variables which have to be concentrated for getting work done. So dear students, this is what which I wanted to share with you on the topic called behavior and models. Dear students, now you have been taught on what is behavior, what is the general model on behavior, what are the other models that explains the behavior. Now based on whatever you have learned, I like to a real case with you which is very relative to the concept whatever we have discussed. The hero of the case is Mr. Rajan. Rajan, with respect to individual level variable, he was from an orthodox family in Sivagasi. As an individual guy, his behavior was excellent. He had his early days with his parents. He was brought up in an orthodox business family. The emphasis was more on religion. He was the one and only son for their family, business family. They were on to the manufacturing of candle. So he is very closely associated, attached with his mother. Right from his kindergarten to his school, he was a day scholar student. His mother has to teach him each and everything. Such a religious fellow, fond of mother, fond of religion, clean habit. This was the individual behavior of Mr. Rajan. As soon as Rajan completed his 12th standard, his parents planned to give him a very good education. And the education which they thought for Rajan was engineering. So before proceeding to the next one, let us look at some of his individual behavior. We'll put it on the board. So IB, which stands for individual behavior, affectionate, religious, obedient, clean habits. So these were some of the behavior of Mr. Rajan under an individual perspective. Now again let us come back to the case. So Rajan's parents wanted to give Rajan a very good education. They felt that Rajan should cultivate the habit of living on his own. He should not be dependent on the parents. So they decided Rajan should be put in a hostel. So this is what they decided, and they got admission to Rajan in a very big engineering college in Tamil Nadu. So day one, Rajan was admitted in hostel. Rajan was nervous. He was homesick because he has never left his mother and father. So he feared. But some of his roommates convinced Rajan. One day, Rajan came out and he started vomiting. Their nearby roommates went and asked, Rajan, what happened? Rajan said, there is a smoke smell in my room. Somebody has smoked and they have entered the room. I cannot tolerate that smell. That is why I vomited. Everybody, they were very happy with Rajan. So how this fellow has been developed by his parents with clean habits. Days went on. 1 year passed out. Now Rajan entered his second year of engineering. Now there were some changes in his behavior. Rajan started the habit of smoking. Rajan started the habit of drinking without knowing to the knowledge of his parents and teachers. So this is mainly because of his roommates. So dear student, this is what is meant by impact of group on individual behavior. So I told you group behavior is more powerful when compared to individual behavior. Now let us put it on the board. What is the consequences of Rajan after indulging in group? So this is IB. Group behavior. So what is behavior of Rajan after indulging in group? Smoking, drinking, absenteeism, disobedient. These were the cited behavior of Rajan after indulging in group. See, at one point of time, Rajan was even suspended from the college for his misbehavior. Everybody thought that is the end of Rajan's life. So look at his individual behavior and look at what happened after he indulged in group. Total change. Everybody felt bad for Rajan. So days went on. Somehow Rajan completed his BE degree with lots of arrear. By the time Rajan's father expired. So there were no one to look after the business. Rajan became a chain smoker. Rajan started continuously drinking. His health got spoiled. But somehow all his family, friends and his well-wisher, his good friends advised him to take care of his father's business. By the time, the parents also thought that Rajan will change if he got married. So Rajan was married and Rajan was instructed to take care of his family business. So let us see what happened when Rajan entered an organization. Rajan entered his own organization. Since he belongs to an orthodox family, his organization was very strong in culture. Organization culture was very strong. They had traditional practices, they had traditional belief. So the first one, culture. Rajan was given a conducive work environment by his mother and wife, Climate. Now dear students, as a result, what happened was, miracle happened. There was a total change in Rajan's behavior. Rajan decreased his smoking. He is no longer a chain smoker, and he became a guy who drinks, who is not a quite often drinker now. He takes drink from random to occasion. He is a businessman, he is a successful businessman today, and he has started his own packing industry, and he is the guy who packs all products of Power Soap Limited Company. Now he has eradicated all the worst behavior. He is very clean now. He is obedient to his mother. He is obedient to his wife. He is lovable to his wife and kids. From chain smoker, it has decreased, and he has decreased his drinking habit also. So dear students, this is a real case. As an individual, he was good. As a group, he was spoiled. But when he stepped inside an organization, organization changed him. That is what I told you in the previous session. Organization as such can play a major role in shaping your behavior. I told you that if I am today like this, it is because of the organization where I am working. So with this, I think you will be in a position to understand this case and find out what is individual behavior, what is the impact of group behavior, and what is the impact of organization as a whole on behavior. Thank you.